Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. You're probably like, where am I? Well, I don't know if you can see me. Hi. Okay, so I posted on my Instagram story that I was going to go ahead and deconstruct all of my single eyeshadow palettes. So that is what we're going to do today. The reason I'm doing this is because I feel like I'm not getting use out of my singles. And now my thought process was that, you know, this one's empty, so we'll save that one. But my thought process is that, oh, that's empty too. We're already so successful. My thought process is that we will go ahead and sort everything by color rather than by brand. So for example, this one has all of my Shine by SD singles in here, but I feel like I'm not reaching for things because when I'm duping out palettes or when I'm trying to, you know, come up with my own color stories, like when I was doing my Pat McGrath Utopian Dream palette, it was really hard for me to find certain shades because I was like, well, okay, I need the perfect blue, but then I'm going through every single palette that I own to find the perfect blue. Whereas I think if I had all of my blues together, it would be a lot easier for me to kind of pick and choose what I actually wanted. So I thought that that's what we would do today. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up all my palettes onto the table as much as I can fit them, or in my living room on my coffee table I put some wrapping paper on top so that, you know, I don't get my table dirty, and if I do have, you know, glitter, sparkle, whatever fall out, that it's going to fall on here and I can just throw it out after that. So let's get right into it. So most of this is going to be sped up. Unless I'm talking to you guys, then I will, of course, you know, slow those parts down. So I'll throw some music on, we'll speed it up, and you'll just get to see me deconstruct all of my palettes and try to make my collection of makeup useful for me. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with taking everything out of these palettes. These are all of my like smaller eyeshadow palettes, and then I do have 4 newer singles from MAC. Oh, wait, I am, speaking of MAC, forgetting one single eyeshadow palette, so let me be right back. So I forgot I actually had a whole palette of MAC singles. There's a little bit of dust on there. Let me just wipe that off. That's kind of disgusting. But I do also have that palette. So I'm going to go ahead and just take everything out. So this palette here, just nicked it. I have like shadow all over my fingers already. You know what? I don't care though if I'm nicking them, because sure, it may make them look ugly, but I have so much product that I don't need to worry about. But these are from Pretties for your face. And I feel like I almost never reach for this palette of singles because I don't even know that they exist in my collection. So that's why they're coming out. Same thing here with these from Pastel Roses. So these are some Devinah highlighters. I think that I'm not gonna put these with my eyeshadows, but I'm just gonna put them out to the side separate here because I might move them into a completely different eyeshadow palette. Because I might have, or not eyeshadow palette, but just an empty palette. Because I think I also have some face products from like Sydney Grace. So I'm just pushing these out of frame for now. So I think what I'm going to do before I go ahead and pull out more singles, because I think it's going to get really overwhelming, I'm going to kind of start to sort them in a rainbow so that they're kind of with their color families. And I think what I'll do with my like more like white, ooh, oh no, yeah, that shattered kind of. This is the this is the beauty of filming this type of video. But all of these like iridescent type shades, I'm just gonna move into one area together. And yeah, I think oh my god, I'm just gonna murder all my eyeshadows today. But I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up again, and I'll let you guys watch me do that. Okay, so here's where we're at so far with just some of those. So I think I'm going to start pulling other palettes in now. I feel like I'm missing some. I might be missing some palettes, so I might have to go grab those from the other room. Yeah, you know what? Let me go check on that first, and then I'll come back and we'll continue with this. All right, so I'm back. I went and grabbed some more of my shadow palettes. There were still quite a few that were missing on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one apart. This is some Copacetic shadows. I always gravitate towards like some of the 2-3 same shadows that are in this palette. So I am ready to take this apart. You guys, how crazy is it how many purple shadows I have, especially from Copacetic? That is nuts. Oops. Oh no, that was my favorite one too. Well, nothing happened to it, but that was golden hour. It rolled underneath my couch. Okay, so next I have this huge palette that has all of these shadows. Some of them are kind of running around because this palette, I swear, does not have a really good magnet. So these are from BH Cosmetics. They are the oh no, sorry, not BH Cosmetics. These are the Coastal Scents Hot Pots, and they never really get used, even though they're pretty. I think I've only used one, like once. They are really, really pretty though, and they are types of shadows that I would probably use, but the problem is I always forget I have this palette of these shadows. So I'm going to go ahead and sort these into their color families as well, and I think my table is probably going to be really full really soon. Okay, so here I have some Looxi shadows. I am waiting for their newest collection, the Butterfly Kiss 2, to come in. Also, that orange matte down there is broken, but I'm going to go ahead and take this apart as well. Guys, I think this is going to be a really long video. I already have like an hour of footage. It's crazy. There's like 2 eyeshadows, can't figure out where to put. So the last of my singles that are left to take out are these ones here. These are from Emme Cosmetics. It's a Canadian indie brand. And I just totally dirtied my whole palette with all of the shadows that are on my fingers. But I'm not going to take this out because I wanted to film a look with these shadows because I did create this color story when I was picking it to kind of be like, I don't know, like my palette from the brand. So I'm going to leave them in here for now, and then I'll sort them into the palettes once I've done that video. So this is going to stay for now for video purposes. But here are literally all of my eyeshadows. I'm going to see if I can zoom you guys out. Oh, there. So that's kind of, I guess, the bigger picture. Yeah, there is a lot. There we go. There we go. So as you can see, I have a ton. There's a lot of shadows, a lot of shadows. So now I'm going to sort them into palettes, and I don't know where I'm going to start, but I think I'm just going to pop music over. I'm not going to talk through what I'm doing. Maybe at the end I can kind of explain what I did in each palette and why I chose to do it that way. So I don't know. This is very overwhelming right now. All right, you guys, we are back. Here is my whole single eyeshadow collection. I moved the iridescent like highlighters and the blush out of the way. I think what I'm gonna do is, I feel like because I can see where all my iridescent shadows are, I'm gonna go ahead and put those into a palette first. But I think I'm gonna kind of move everything out of the way into their little like kind of color family. And I think I'm gonna kind of tackle it like a jigsaw puzzle. Yeah, I think that might be the best way to do this. There is so much eyeshadow. I cannot believe how much eyeshadow there is. Anywho, let's get right into it. So I thought this palette was going to be big enough to hold all of these, but it isn't. So I think that we're going to probably put it into a different palette, but what I'm going to do for now is just kind of put them in here as best as I can to just have them out of the way. And then we'll go back. I think that's just how this is going to have to pan out, is I'm just going to have to do things bit by bit. So right now they're not all kind of sitting in there, but there's all the iridescent ones. I'm going to tuck that away for now. All right, you guys, so I didn't end up filming the overhead of me organizing my single eyeshadow collection. It was just a lot. It was a lot. And so I decided to just go ahead and do it this way. So here I am. I put on a quick face for you guys. Just some easy makeup. I'm actually really liking how it looks though. It looks very natural, very fresh, very pretty. But we're going to go through how I organized all of my single shadows. So let me pull my palettes. They're on the floor right here beside me, and we're just gonna go ahead. So first one, first one. These are all my iridescent shadows. Now I tried putting them in a different palette earlier, but they would not fit. So let's see. Let's see if I can show you. Hang on, I feel like my ISO is just a little high. So I don't think you can really tell, but they're iridescent. Some of them have like little flips and whatnot. It's really hard to show you guys these without swatching them. I'm not going to swatch them. I'm not going to do swatches of shadows in this video. I just really wanted to show you how I went ahead and organized them. These are not in any particular order. In any of the palettes I'm showing you, nothing is in any particular order. They're just kind of in there. So I have one palette for all my iridescent shades, and it's not full, which is nice. But I do wish I could have put it into a smaller palette, but it is what it is, so that's okay. I have a smaller palette. This one, actually, I don't need to show you all of the palettes. I'm just going to show you the shadows. So these are all of my kind of reds, my kind of cranberries. You know, there's some shifty ones in here. I have my Clionadh Forge and Kiln in here, and then my Devinah Australis. So those kind of greeny red shifts or whatever they are in here as well. I just didn't want to home them somewhere else. Like this shadow here looks a little bit more orange in this palette. So does that one, but I'm not gonna be too bothered about that. So none of these palettes are perfect. That's okay. But that is my collection of reds and kind of cranberry shades, which is a lot. Like I don't tend to use these kind of tones, so it's a lot, definitely a lot. We have a huge palette. This has all of my neutral, not all of my neutrals, but a lot of my neutrals. And I will say the ones that are in here are more like warm toned. There's a few cool toned towards the bottom, but these are all just kind of neutral eyeshadows in this huge Colored Rain 96 pen palette. So there's a bunch of different size pens, different shapes, and I know that bothers a lot of people, but you know, this is just what works for me. So I'm going to hide behind this so I can give you a better look. But here is basically what my neutral single eyeshadow collection looks like. Hopefully I can get a lot more use out of these shades. Like I have a ton, you know, a ton of them. So hopefully putting them into these palettes will give me a little bit more reason to want to reach for them. So that was kind of my hope in doing this project. Let's go into the next one. So I'm going to say these are not my favorite palettes. This is the Adept Hard Case two-sided palettes. Not my favorite. So these are all of my yellows, oranges, and pinks. So pinks are on one side and then oranges and yellows are on this side. There's kind of some golds in there too because I feel like they were just easy to pair in here, especially ones that leaned a little bit more yellow, but ones that were definitely more gold or bronzy gold went into my neutral palette. So I'm really liking how this is looking so far, but I don't love this palette. So I think I bought one myself and then I got one as a Christmas gift, but I feel like I may end up having to get rid of those because they're not really my favorite personally. So I know there's people out there that do like those ones, but I think I like the ones that are made out of cardboard a little bit more. They're just a lot easier to deal with and they don't really break and stuff, so that kind of makes it a little bit more, you know, manageable. So I have another one of those palettes. This one houses all of my blue eyeshadows. You guys, it's crazy. Ooh, it's crazy how many blue eyeshadows I have. But what's even crazier is the blue eyeshadows are not the ones that take over my entire collection. So there are the blues organized. Of course, you can see there's no actual gradient or anything. I've organized them in. I kind of just threw them in. It was becoming stressful, so I said, you know what, that's another project for another day. I just want to get the colors into their homes. So I organized them best as possible that they looked to my eyes, and I'm happy with it, so it doesn't really matter. So this next one houses all of my cool toned neutral shades. So they're all kind of grays, those kind of green brown shifts I popped into here because I didn't know where else to put them. So those are towards the bottom there. Yeah, I don't know. These are more like taupey, purple, silvery, those kind of shades. I don't really have a true silver eyeshadow. And that is something that I realized, that I don't have a true silver eyeshadow. I think I have one in a palette somewhere, but not as a single, and I'm pretty surprised about that. I think the closest one I have is Electra from MAC, but I don't think it's very silver. So the next two palettes I'm going to show you house all of my greens and my kind of greeny blues, and I couldn't house them all together, so they're housed separately. So I'll show you what those look like. So first is a large palette holding all of my teal greens, and you can see they have kind of purple shifts, some of them, but you know, they were more teal than they were purple, so they went into this palette. So there they are. These are all kind of the minty shades, the bluey greens, the not so actual greens. So I put them all into this palette. Some of them are looking super blown out in white, but they're not. They're really light mint shifty shades. So that was the other issue I was having in organizing them. I have a lot of shifty eyeshadows, and I feel like that kind of made it hard to separate them all because I didn't have so many categories of this particular shift or whatever to keep them in one palette. Like I don't have a lot of black based multi-chromes, and I had a lot of the iridescent ones, so those were easy, but it was really hard to organize those. And then the other green palette that I have, the other one is my like true greens, and some of them are shifty, so they might not all look green when you look at them. So there those are, tons and tons of green eyeshadows. I never need to buy any green shadow ever again. I don't have a lot of like dark greens. I feel like they're all kind of the same, limey or olive green. That's what I tend to have a lot of. But yep, there it is. There is the greens, because I know every single one of you were probably waiting for the greens because, let's be real, everyone on YouTube, for whatever reason, loves green eyeshadow. And lastly, I have my purple palette. Now this one, you guys, I was not expecting to have this many purple eyeshadows, but gosh, I have so many purple eyeshadows. I don't even know what to do. And perfectly enough, I was able to store them in a purple palette because I had one. So here we go. These are all of my purple eyeshadows, all of the beauties. I have so many purple eyeshadows from Menagerie, like these square pen ones, because I thought I needed them in my collection, but really I didn't. And yeah, there's a lot of blue shifty ones, so you can probably see some blues, a lot of pink shifty ones. I have a lot of blue and purple shift. So between this palette and the blue palette, there's a lot that shift between blue and purple, which made it really hard to decipher which one was going to go into which palette. But that's how I decided to go ahead and organize them for now. Things may change over time. I may move stuff around because I may swatch things and be like, well, no, this actually looks more green than it does blue, you know, and then move it around. So right now they're just in the place that I think they fit in the most when I'm looking at them head on. So if that changes, that'll change over time, and that's fine. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show you guys. It was just really overwhelming for me to have to film the entire process of doing it. One, because it was going to be a really long video. Two, because I had no idea where I was actually putting anything. It took me 2 or 3 days to figure this out. And sometimes I would have to start doing it while me and my husband were watching TV or whatever. And I was like, okay, let me just pick up a palette and start organizing it, kind of. And so then I would do it, you know? So there was no like set plan. There was no set like anything. It was just kind of like working on it step by step. So ripping it apart was fun. I thought I would include that footage already, and you guys have seen that in the beginning, because I thought it would be nice to see at least that part, because you're not seeing the rest of it. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully this was a somewhat enjoyable video. I don't really know. It's not some kind of content that I've ever filmed before, so I don't know what people feel about this, but hopefully you liked watching me organize-ish. Deconstruct. But yeah, that's all for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button down below. I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already, but again, no pressure as always. I hope that you guys are all staying well, being kind, and staying healthy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.